All right, I'm at Bev Francis Powerhouse Gym with my very good friend, Arash. Arash is an Olympia competitor, one of the guys I put at the top of my list that comes down to paying attention to detail in reference to training, but especially nutrition. You've been in this game a while, right?
Yeah, I've been bodybuilding and training and dieting for 27 years, but being competitive since 2014.
And I can't tell you how many things I've picked off from Arash or have stolen from him when it comes down to being a motivation and how meticulous he is when it comes down to diet. I think a lot of us out there, there is a difference between just eating to be healthy and really eating to change your body's composition, correct?
Absolutely. You know, being healthy is one thing, which is great. We should all do that. But dieting for changes in body composition is a whole nother animal.
Right.
You can actually gain weight and body fat eating healthy, you know? So earlier days for me was all about, I want to look like this, so what do I eat to look like this? And that slowly evolved, like the rest of my body and training, which we'll get more into.
Sure.
That slowly evolved into, you know what, I want to do this, but I want to do this for 20 years. I want to do this for 30 years. So longevity is big for me. So eating to provide what my body needs and to be healthy has really taken precedent for me over the past couple of years. And one thing that I've noticed is when I'm dieting and pushing for those competitions, or for you guys that are dieting to look good for the summer, for a wedding, a vacation, whatever it may be, we're putting a lot of stress on our body. And if you're not providing not just the macros, but the micronutrients to fill in that gap, you might not have issues now, but it'll catch up to you.
Right, and what's funny is my body typically feels better when I'm counting macros and when I'm really dialed in nutritionally. And I just feel like it's never that I'm not eating good enough, it's that I'm not eating enough. Yeah. And when I'm not eating enough, that's when I start feeling energy levels dip. That's when I start feeling like my body's not holding that level of fullness. And there is so much value that I think I need to put into consuming enough calories. And I really believe a lot of people out there, they start off with that same trend. They're having their egg whites for breakfast, they think they're eating healthy, they're having that salad for lunch, and by the time 3 o'clock rolls around, they've gotten in 800 calories, and then they're just dying in the evenings and they're famished and they're eating all this junk. I mean, before we start this session, can you talk about the importance of getting your meals in? And how we need to stay full, and how in time you maintain blood sugar level, and you might have your cheats once in a while, but you're never craving every day ice cream and sugar and all this junk.
Exactly. You never want to be starving, and you never want to be so full where you can't breathe and your stomach is expanded. The biggest takeaway is that what Don said, the biggest mistake I see people making is not eating enough during the day, overeating at night. So if you wake up in the morning and Don or I tell you to eat this many eggs and this much food, and you're just like, that's too much, I'm not hungry in the mornings. You're not hungry in the morning because you overate last night. There's no reason why any fit, healthy human being shouldn't be hungry after a 7, 8, 9 hour fast of sleeping. So eating enough throughout the day, staying satiated, not overeating at night, having your smallest meal should be before you go to bed in the evening. You want your stomach empty, you want blood circulating throughout your body. So eating enough is the key. And keep in mind, guys, when you start your diet, when you start your journey, your muscle building, weight loss journey, you want to do the least amount of work with the most amount of result. You want to eat the most amount of food, getting the most amount of results. So you don't want to start with 1 hour cardio and 1,000 calorie deficit. You will whittle away. It won't be fun. You'll get tired. You'll fail. Your relationships, your work will suffer. So you want to start with a well-rounded diet, eating enough to fuel your workouts and to fuel your brain. And just throughout the day, I've had a lot of people come to me and say, you know, I'm so tired from dieting. I'm not losing weight anymore. I feel like kind of skinny fat. And most of all, I'm not functioning at work. And I'm short with my wife. And, you know, I yelled at my dog. So.
And, you know, and we undervalue the importance. For me, it's a very simple goal. If I come into my workouts and my energy level's high and I can optimize my workout for that 1 hour, for that 90 minutes, whatever it is, I feel like everything else is gravy. I get my meals in, I know when I'm supposed to get them, I get good sufficient rest, and I treat it one day at a time. I think a lot of us obsess over, what about in a week? What about in 2 weeks? What about in 3 weeks? We're worrying about today. I need to worry about today. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna plan for tomorrow, but I gotta do my best today, and that's the main takeaway. So Arash and I right now, we're gonna go and we're gonna get a quick little, I don't like to say warm up, a little movement prep, get the body feeling good. I've been coaching for 23 years. Anytime I can get around someone that I really respect and who knows a lot about training, it's not about me trying to run the show or him trying to run the show. We're always like, if there's something, one little thing Arash could pick up from me or vice versa, there's gonna be more than one thing today. That's great. That makes us a little bit better. And I think a lot of times you'll see in the business, everyone's kind of like trying to, oh, no, I'm good. I'm like, what's wrong? Learn from someone you've been on stage. I've never been on stage. There's things with posing I don't know about. There's things with creating tension that you've made your life's work about. I mean, bodybuilding's creating tension. And I've seen you train, and you're not running around like it's some marathon. Like, you're in there every set and every rep. There's such amount of focus and detail, which I want everyone who follows me and who does my programs, I want them to pay attention to that.
Absolutely. I mean, for me to compete and be on stage, what he's saying 100% right. I have a certain way of training, and I don't really sway too much from it. But just lifestyle and being healthy, being fit, and looking like this guy, I'm a big fan of Don. I always preach about him, and I use him as an example. Truly, I really do it. I always use him as an example. This is balance. You know, he's healthy. He's running around. He's working all the time. He's playing with his kids. He can bend over and tie a shoelace without pulling something.
I can still do that.
You know, and he looks great, and he utilizes everything. You know, he's not just a high rep, high set type of guy. He's strong, does a lot of power. And that's very, very important. Like, a lot of you guys and girls want to get lean and get fit, and you're like, all right, I'll just do high reps. I'll just do tons of cardio. You don't get that look. You don't get that hard, muscular look. Even those thinner actresses and actors, which he gets in shape himself, I mean, they need to train with that power, like a little bit of bodybuilding, a little bit of powerlifting to look.
It's funny,
like this.
Working with people like Blake Lively and Anne Hathaway, Scarlett Johansson, these are women that have very appealing different bodies. Emily Blunt, they train hard and heavy, and they're not afraid to pick up shit.
Detail here. So you see his lat stretching there and firing on the way down. You see the fibers and striations in his lat, and also you see his delt. I mean, that's pretty freaky right there. Look at that.
I want people to also think about the detail going into that warm-up set or that feeler set. This is an incredibly light weight for Arash. He's not running through this like showing off and just ripping through reps to rip through it. He's sitting there right now. He's trying to connect his mind to his muscle. He's trying to get that area to fire. Yes.
When you guys are trying to push yourselves and go heavier and more intensity, you need to allow yourself to recover. If you're pushing that rest period to be shorter and shorter, it's great. It'll build your cardiovascular, and over time, it'll force your body to recover faster, which is awesome, but you're going to be weaker. If you only allow yourself 60 seconds, you're not gonna be able to get stronger and push heavier weight set to set.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I think people confuse sometimes about tiring this out opposed to tiring this out.
Difference.
Like, right, it's a huge difference. And
you're in this weight room. We're here right now for two reasons. Build strength, build muscle. You're not here to burn fat. I know that sounds silly. We're going to burn fat.
It's like a byproduct of it. That's what people don't realize. Yeah.
You're going to gain weight and build muscle, or lose weight, burn fat over there with the cardio and with the calories, up or down. Here, our main goal is to build strength and muscle. Men, women, children, everybody.
Every training session, every year that goes by, it hurts more and more. I feel it more and more. You know what I'm saying? It's never like, I feel like you can almost do less work and get more out of it. You just get more connected.
It never gets easier.
No. It actually gets more difficult.
If you're doing it right, it gets more difficult. It gets harder because you're pushing yourself, you know? If Don did what he was doing a year ago, 2 years ago, he wouldn't be progressing much, you know, he'd be maintaining. And that's what you see a lot in gyms. You see the person on the treadmill every single day running 60 minutes, but they look the same for the last 3 years because their body's adapted, you know? And your body will adapt to things that are easier. Your body will adapt to walking, to jogging, to lightweight high reps, but your body will never, I promise you, will never adapt to HIIT cardio, sprints, the stuff you see him doing. I really, really like this machine, and it allows me to get a great contraction, and it has a slight angle. The handles are downward, and you're pulling from down to up.
Right.
That's why I chose this.
I am not against protracting and reaching. I mean, so many people are like, keep the shoulders back, retract. Like, I feel like the lat is fully worked as we stretch, and that's gonna, you know, we're gonna have to protract a little bit. So I'm okay with it.
You guys don't have to carry on a gallon like me. I'm measuring my water throughout the day. I know Don is too. He's a little more civilized. You guys have to drink water before and during your workout. One of those little Poland Springs or 2 of those is not enough. Your muscle needs to be hydrated. What we're doing here is a seated row. The difference here with Don using these individual handles instead of just a fixed grip is that you see how his hands are together here. They're about 1 inch apart. But when he pulls full contraction, these are solid 5-6 inches apart. So he's contracting here and then contracting further that by pulling his arms apart. Rear delts are a tiny, tiny muscle back there. You're not gonna work them if you go too heavy. One secret that I've learned, I'll show you guys. Doing them like this is fine with a slight bend. But what I've learned is if I extend my traps and lock out my tris, I'm gonna target my rear delts a lot more, and it's a lot harder.
Look at how many people actually overtrain the anterior chain. They're like press, 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 and then they either end up getting hurt or their physique just looks off.
Yeah.
Especially from how anterior chain we all are. It's so much fun training with someone that has similar viewpoints to you and they values, and you just get in here like, I click with this guy. It's fantastic.
So the reason I like these better than standing face pulls is because I don't have to worry about stabilizing so much. I can keep tight, use the seat to hold my body in place and go heavier. So if you strengthen that muscle, the rotator cuff, it's gonna give you more stability. You're gonna be less likely to injure your shoulder because 90% of shoulder injuries are the rotator cuff. And you're gonna be stronger. It's gonna aid you in your lifts.
Yeah.
You're gonna have stronger presses. We decided to start with a preacher machine, and we have 4 preacher, 5. We have 5 preacher machines here, and both of us went to the same one. And what does that tell you?
Oh my God.
You can use machines as long as it feels right. So over the course of however many years, we've used all these, not knowing that this is his favorite, is my favorite too, because between the angle and the grip, it gives us the most stimulation, contraction in the bicep muscle. Up, 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 up. Good.
That was 11 reps. Just in case you're curious. It's always nice to be motivated by someone like him because this has not come easy. This has been a lot of work. This has been a lot of work. I mean, you've been on a world-class stage, you're on another level, but if anyone's gonna turn around to you and say, well, it's genetics, you worked your ass off. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You worked your ass off. You didn't miss meals, you didn't skip meals, you didn't skip training sessions. I'd see this guy here doing 6 a.m. cardio and then going home and recharging and having a meal and coming back here, where a lot of people would say, well, let me just do cardio right, before or after the lift because I'm lazy and I don't want to make it, you treated this like a job.
I had 2 fingers here, just one on his wrist.
Kind of guided me and kept me moving.
Yeah, sometimes when you spot someone from the elbow and you just squeeze, not push up, but squeeze, you give them that mental stability and security, and it just helps a lot. Just putting my fingers there, I just felt a little bit, him working a little bit more, so.
All right, guys, that's a wrap. That was about an hour. God, we went for about an hour 45, is it?
Yeah.
But I didn't even feel it. Sometimes you just get in the zone. Guys, do me a favor, give Arash a follow on Instagram and your YouTube channel, right? Okay, we're gonna be doing some more training lately, all right? We're gonna be doing some more training in the near future. I might get my words crossed up, but it's a good buddy of mine, so check him out. And guys, hope you enjoyed the video, thanks.